We're learning Mishna Yevamos, Perek Beis. Okay. Mishna Yevamos, Perek Beis, Mishna Zion. Believe it or not, we will be completing a Mishna Zion today. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm trying to figure out here. Let's just again let's just read through the Mishnah quickly so we get to the point where we're at. Again, starting from Mishnah Zion. Shnayim sheketchu shtei achayos, two men, not brothers, who made kiddushin, betrothed two sisters. Zeno yodea eza kiddush, v'zeno yodea eza kiddush. Each one doesn't know which one he was mekadosh. So we don't know these two women, who are they married to? Which one is married to which? They're both married, but not to whom. The halach is that both those men have to both give two gittin. They each give a get to each woman to make sure that they are now free to marry. Mesu, let's say these two men who made the kedushin died. Each one has one brother. The halach is each brother does chalitza to both women. If excuse me, if one has one brother, one has two brothers. The one brother does chalitza to both women, and the other and the two brothers from the other man, one does chalitza, one does yibum. Kid muvakansu, if they did not listen, they just went in and each one took one for a wife. You don't have to take them away. Now, this is where we got up to yesterday. Each one has two brothers. The brother of one does chalitza to one, and the brother of another does chalitza to another. The brother of one brother does yibam on the woman that the brother from the other brother did chalitza on, and the brother of the other one does yibam on the woman that the brother of the other man did chalitza on. Okay, now, this is, just quickly, this is the chart I gave you right now. It has a 1 on the top of it. Okay, this is yesterday's chart. And yesterday's chart, just go quickly because it'll help us get to the end of the Mishnah. You start off on the top, you have Leah and Rachel, they're both sisters. Reuven on one side, Chaim on the other side. They are not brothers, they are the two men who made Kedushin on one of them. Each one made Kedushin on one of them, they don't know which one. Reuven has two brothers, RB1 and RB2. Chaim has two brothers, CB1, CB2. Okay? That's the situation. Then Reuven and Chaim both die. Leah and Rachel were married to one of them. Nobody knows but they don't know to whom. Both of them died without children. Both of them now have to have yibam. We don't know to whom. So the Mishnah said yesterday that what happens in this kind of case is, the way to go is that, just using for an example, each of the set of brothers, one of each brother, RB1 and CB1, they will do chalitza to one of the sisters. That's the dotted line. And then once one of them does chalitza to each sister, then the other brother can now marry the one that the other brother made a chalitza on. So just in the picture, RB2 is going to go ahead and marry Leah, who CB1 did chalitza to. He is doing yibum on the woman that the brother from the other brother did chalitza on, and so too CB2 is going to do yibum on Rachel, the one who RB1 did chalitza to. That was yesterday's story. Okay? That's yesterday's story. Now, to make today's story a little easier, take a look at this chart. Okay? What's going to happen now in the rest of the Mishnah is like this. Things didn't happen the way they were supposed to. Okay? Yet we just went through the chart. What's supposed to happen? What's supposed to happen is each brother from one set is going to do chalitza, and then each from another set is going to do yibum. What happened in the next case of the Mishnah was, for example, two brothers from one of the men, RB1 and RB2, they both did chalitza on Rachel. They both did chalitza on Rachel. How they did it without asking the Bezdin, I don't know, but they did it. Okay? They went ahead and they both did chalitza on Rachel. Okay, so now that they both did chalitza on Rachel, they're both out of the picture, right? They're out of the picture when it comes to Rachel because, again, they did chalitza on Rachel. If she was your sister-in-law, right, and you did chalitza on her, you can't marry her afterwards. That's nothing to talk about, right? And at the same time, Leah, who was definitely married to somebody, right, nothing happened to her yet, right? And Rachel's her sister. So now the question is, the other brothers, CB1 and CB2, Chaim's brothers, what are they supposed to do now? So the Mishnah is going to tell us what they're supposed to do is, as I have on the chart, I have the broken line to Leah. One brother is going to do a chalitza on Leah, then the other brother can actually marry her and do yibum. That's the arrow. Okay? So now let's go into the Mishnah, back into the Mishnayos, and read and explain. Kadmu shnayim v'cholza. This is where we're up to in the Mishnah. Two of them went ahead and they both did chalitza. Lo yabmu hashnayim. The other two can't do yibum, meaning the first one set of brothers, right? In our story here, RB1 and RB2, Ruvain's brothers did chalitza on Rachel. Okay, so now let's look at Leah. Now again those two brothers, right, who did chalitza on Rachel, they can't marry Leah either, because Leah is at this point possibly the sister of the woman they did chalitza on. So Leah, so both women are out of the picture for Reuben's brothers. But now look at Chaim's brothers. What about them? So we say the first thing the Mishnah says about Chaim's brothers is lo yabu ashnayim. Both of them can't do yibum. Both of them can't do yibum. Why? Because at the end of the day, Rachel, at the end of the day, right, they can't just go do yibum anyway they want. Because Leah didn't have chalitza to her, right? And Leah still has a connection to yibum to somebody, right? She was married to somebody. She has a connection to somebody. That connection now may be to them, and therefore Rachel is the sister of the woman connected to them. Or at the same time, it could very well be that Leah wasn't even their brother's sister. She was the other man's wife. Sorry, I'm sister. I made the wrong thing. It could be that Leah was never their sister-in-law. She was never married to their brother. She may have been married to Reuven. And if she was married to Reuven, right? And so the chalitza the other brothers did didn't mean anything. And now she is really another man's wife that they can't marry, who needs Ibam. Meaning each one of them can't just go over to Leah and say, let's do Ibam. They can't do that because we don't even know who Leah was really married to. We don't know who she was married to. And therefore it's very possible that Leah was married to the first person, to Reuven. Reuven's brothers never gave her chalitza. So at the end of the day, Leah really is connected to Yibam to the other brothers, not to them, and they can't marry her then. Okay, and if it comes, that's the problem that they face. That's why they can't just do Yibam. We don't know if Leah is their sister-in-law or not to be able to do Yibam. So therefore, the Mishnah says Lo yabmu shnayim. The two can't go and do Yibam. But what do? Ela echad chayletz, ve'echad miyabim. One does chalitza, and then one can do Yibam. Okay, now, what is this accomplishing? Okay, so now let me just back up for a second. When it says lo yabmu hashnayim, both can't do yibam. So we explain the two brothers of the other man may still not both perform yibam, since one of them would be marrying the sister of his sekuka, woman bound for yibam. Okay, I didn't explain this well enough. When the two brothers of the first man both perform chalitza, they freed only one widow, since only one was their Yevama. Thus, one of the sisters is surely still bound to the second set of brothers for Yibam, and the other sister there is a Kuka. There's an issue here. When the two brothers of Chaim want to go ahead and let's say go ahead and marry, right? They want to go and do Yibam on one. So again, Leah they can't do Yibam on because maybe Leah wasn't their brother's wife. Now, at the same time, if let's say they want to go ahead and do Yibam on Rachel, right? Or they want to do Yibam on Rachel, well, maybe Leah is their sister-in-law, and Rachel is the sister of the woman who's connected to them for Yibam. So therefore, at the end of the day, they can't go ahead and marry any of them. So what do? What they do is meaning so either way, Leah is there's a problem with doing yibum with Leah. They can't do yibum with Leah either because of the fact that if it is that she may be the sister of the woman connected to them for yibum, or she may actually be the wife of the other man, and she's connected to other men, not to them. So what do? They go over to Leah, and one goes in and gives chalitza. Now, by one of them going in and doing chalitza, what happens is like this. Rather, even in this case, one brother must first perform chalitza with one of the sisters, and then one brother may then perform yibum with the other sister. Okay, in my picture, I gave an example that the CB1 did chalitza on Leah, right? Mm-hmm. He could have done chalitza on any one of them. The point is, what he accomplished by doing chalitza is, by doing chalitza, he now goes ahead. Give me 1 second. Okay, my picture is wrong.
The bottom one?
No, the top one is wrong. The top one is wrong. One brother must first perform chalitza with one of the sisters, and then one brother may then perform yibum with the other sister. Okay, that's my mistake. I have CB going to Leah, which is why I'm getting confused myself. See, I'm confusing myself with my own pictures. And really, the picture should be CB2 is going to marry Rachel. That's the point. That's the point. Because by going ahead and doing chalitza on Leah, right? So now, one does chalitza on Leah. By doing the chalitza on, one of them does chalitza, right? They both can't do yibum. So one of them is going to do chalitza on Leah, right? In case Leah, one is going to do chalitza on Leah to free Leah to marry. And then the other brother is going to marry Rachel. You know why he can marry Rachel? Because if Rachel was the sister of Leah, she's not the sister of the woman who is connected to him because he gave her chalitza. Okay? If Rachel was really the wife of the other brother, then the brother of that other man, I shouldn't say that, but if Leah was the wife of the other man, then his brothers already gave chalitza to her. And therefore, she's free to go. So therefore, what we're saying is, so again, the first two brothers, they went and they did chalitza. That wasn't the way they had to do it, but they went and did chalitza. At the end of the day, if they did chalitza, they're out of the picture. But now the question is the other brothers. So we're saying by the other brothers, one gives chalitza to one sister, then the other brother can marry the other sister. Okay, I apologize for the mistake in the picture. Now, next. You see, I can see that you're getting the picture better than me because you realized the mistake before I did. Okay, next. Kid Muvakansu. The next case on the bottom is going back on those two brothers, right? Instead of what's happening was, instead of the first case, right, one set of brothers, both brothers did chalitza, right? And we said in the top case, okay, when it comes to the brothers of the other man, one should do chalitza to one, the other one can do yibum to the other. But now these two guys jumped the gun. And instead of going ahead and one doing yibum, one doing chalitza, they both did yibum. Now again, my arrow was wrong, right? They can't both do yibum on the same one. So, but it means is that one did a yibum on Leah and one did a yibum on Rachel. They married them. They married them. So what do we say? Kid muvakinsu, if they both went and they married, we don't take them away. We don't have to take them away because they're married in sin, because we had this already before. In this kind of case, right? If it comes out again, if in our case, if Rachel was the wife of Reuven, those guys gave her chalitza, she's out of the picture with them. The issue was that maybe again between Leah and Rachel, we don't know who is Chaim's wife and who is the sister of Chaim's wife. Who is the woman who they actually have a connection to Yibam to, and who is the sister of the woman they have a Yibam connection to. All right, so the first guy who went in and married Leah, he shouldn't have. He did a no-no, because who says this was his sister-in-law? It could have been the sister of the woman that is connected to him. Maybe Rachel was his sister-in-law, and Leah is the sister of his sister-in-law, which he cannot marry. That's the sister of the woman connected to Yibam. He shouldn't have done it. But once the other brother goes and does Yibam on not on Leah, but on Rachel, no.
Oh.
Once in the second case, the bottom case,
okay,
once CB2, once the other brother does Yibam on Rachel, right? So then we say like this, look, if it really comes out that Rachel was Chaim's wife, then guess what? Yibum was just done on her. And if Yibum was done on her, Leah's free. She has no problem anymore. She's not the sister of a woman connected to Yibum. That woman had Yibum done on her. There's no more Zika. There's no more connection. She's his wife. Once that connection is gone, we don't consider it anymore like your wife's sister that you can't marry. Once the whole connection was she was the sister of the woman that was connected to you for Yibum, once that connection is done, then there's no more connection. There's no more relationship. So therefore, so even though Chaim's first brother who married Leah, he wasn't supposed to do that because maybe she's the sister of the woman who's connected for Yibum. However, once Chaim goes and does Yibum on Rachel, right? So that means, again, if Rachel was the real sister-in-law, Chaim did Yibum on her. Therefore, Leah has no problem. If Leah was a real sister-in-law, then Chaim went ahead and married the right woman. And you know why Chaim's second brother can marry Rachel? Because she's a free woman. Because if she was the wife of the other man, those brothers already gave her chalitza. Okay, tomorrow's Mishnah should be easier.
Oh, so
Okay. Hey. You prepare. And without realizing it, you make the mistakes. Okay. All right, where are we at? So now, all right. So the Chofetz Chaim said, in a situation spoke Lashon Hara about someone, and that person was affected, you need to ask that person permission. Now, says the Chofetz Chaim, let's say your friend doesn't even know about it. Meaning, he didn't feel the effects yet. He doesn't know. The Chofetz Chaim paskins, he paskins, you got to let him know about it. What you did against him. And to ask him for forgiveness for it. Because you know that through what you did, this was caused by him. Meaning, what's happening is like this. You said Lashon Hara about him. It affected him. Mm-hmm. It affected him. He doesn't know about it yet. He doesn't realize it. Now, you want to ask him for mechila. So that means you got to go over to him and let him know that you spoke Lashon Hara about him and you hurt him. It's pretty embarrassing, right? But the Chofetz Chaim says you still have to go ahead and ask him mechila. From this we can understand how careful a person has to be from this very bad trait. A person who is habitual in this. It's basically impossible to do tshuva, to repent. He's not going to be able to keep track of all the people that he hurt. Even those people who he remembers who he hurt. They don't realize it necessarily. And therefore he's going to go ahead and have to reveal it to them. Meaning, imagine if you went ahead and you spoke badly about a person because that person didn't get a job. He doesn't know that's the reason. He didn't get a job. He doesn't know it's because of you. The Chofetz Chaim is saying, if you want mechila from him, you got to let him know that. And one can understand that is very, very uncomfortable. And therefore, the Chofetz Chaim is saying, therefore, you for sure have to be very careful. This is why a person has to be careful of Lashon Hara, because in certain ways, there are some forms of Lashon Hara, and it could happen in many ways that there's going to be no way to ask forgiveness because you don't even remember the person, or it's just going to be very, very difficult to do. Have a wonderful day.
thank you. Goodbye.
You too.